So had we kept moving and not stopped, we would have probably been arrested.
Yeah, we would have been one of the 700, or two of the 700, rather.
Yeah.
But yeah, then we got back to camp, realized that everything had gone the direction of FUBAR, and tried getting a hold of Don and Matthias ASAP. Isaac, as you know, it turns out that they made it across the bridge into Brooklyn, and then had the hassle of getting escorted by the police back over without getting arrested. But yeah, the rest of our time there after the bridge was just spent trying to make sure our friends were okay, trying to figure out if there was a plan B after the bridge, like if there was going to be another rally, if there was going to be anything. And there was a lot of heated debate going on in the park, but mostly it was just information passing to make sure everyone knew that the police trapped everyone they could. So shortly after that, it started raining again, and Tegan and I knew that we had to get back for some obligations that we each had today, as well as work during the week. So we opted to head out since things had seemed to have climaxed.
And go back there as soon as possible.
Yeah, we both plan on going back. Also, when we got to the bridge, the protest was split between the footpath and the roadway, and then the police had moved in and cut off the protesters from entering the bridge. So no more than, or I doubt if even half of the marchers actually got to the middle of the bridge where they officially pinned us. They cut it off pretty quickly after we started going up onto the bridge.
And there really are almost institutionalized games that are played now in situations like this. I think anyone that attends protests or supports protesters is aware that there are certain tactics one must use when dealing with police at a protest. And generally, the way it seems to work is that for those people that got arrested, they will spend maybe a night in jail, and that there is an advocacy lawyer that can be called who helps them get through this revolving door process. And all of you as protesters, tell me if I'm incorrect about this, but all of you had you had a phone number written on your arm, and if one of you was arrested, you yelled out your name. And do you know much about what I'm talking about here?
Yeah, the Lawyers Guild actually came around and wrote in marker, wrote the phone number on our wrists, and I actually have your number, Isaac, on my wrist as well in marker.
So did I, and so did Don, and so did Matthias, because we were like, well, who would you want to help you in a time like this? Isaac Connor. So,
and I would have.
We all had two numbers on our arms. But yeah, you were supposed to yell out your name so they knew who was being taken, and if anybody, police or plainclothes police, started getting rough, you were supposed to immediately take a picture or shoot a video of them, of their face, so they could be identified.
So, seeing that you were only there for a short time, and we have yet to hear back from Matthias and Don, who I know are trying to stay maintained in this media hub while they're there. The crowds obviously will have dispersed as of probably about now, and it'll just be the people that are choosing to occupy Liberty Plaza, if that's still where the camps are. This week, a lot of the protests are beginning in the other cities. Philadelphia is starting on Tuesday, and Boston just started with I think they had about 2,500, 3,000 people there.
Yeah, I heard 3,000.
So we also have the DC protest starting on the 6th. So
Miami, Chicago have already started, right?
Yeah, I'm waiting to hear from Roxanne with the Venus Project is actually going to connect me with some Florida chapters. So, but what I want to know, I think, is where do you think the Wall Street chapter is going to end up in the next couple weeks? Or do you really think that you can even guess that at this point?
I don't see anybody giving up anytime soon. I mean, there's really no reason to. If the weather continues to take a turn for the cold, then I know I personally I'd be willing to get some warm supplies together and head up there. Maybe grab some extra sleeping bags for people. But as far as the spirit goes, I don't see that slowing down at any point. I mean, so far it's only gained momentum, so I don't see that really stopping at any point, unless a serious overhaul in our political and economic systems start.
I think that as long as they have support, even from people who aren't there, that it'll keep going pretty strong. Pretty much anything at this point, I think, is going to keep fueling it. The lack of media attention keeps fueling it. When we get media attention, it fuels it. Even if it's negative, it fuels it. So it's pretty much being fueled from all angles, I think. And as long as they feel the support and have the support and, make donations. I heard that people were making donations by credit card, like they were calling local businesses around there and buying food to be taken there, even if they couldn't be there themselves.
Someone ordered 50 pizzas for the camp for lunch.
Yes.
Saturday.
As long as the support is there, I think it'll stay strong.
Yeah, I'd like to share some of those. The one website is actually a direct donation, so I'd like to share that with everyone here, and then also share the news about why the police have been in such strong force up there. J.P. Morgan Chase actually donated $4.6 million to the NYPD in preparation for this movement, and it appears they got their money's worth. That's for sure.
Yeah, I read about that today as well, and that's another really disturbing thing that we're dealing with. Is it's kind of hard to fight the corruption. It's easy to talk about fighting the corruption, but actually having to deal with it is something entirely different. Like, the cops, they're not screwing around.
It's hard to fight corruption with when there is corruption still going.
Yeah,
I guess.
Like, it'd be easy to clean it out if the police were just doing their jobs. It'd be easy to stop that. But the fact that they now feel indebted to the financial district that's one more pressure to push police into more drastic action, and I guess more pressure for protesters just to make sure they don't give them a reason to do that. But between police and protesters, it's already a pretty volatile situation, and that just kind of makes it a little bit more dangerous for everyone, in my opinion.
Well, also the Occupy movement. The Occupy movement does have a list of demands, but there are quite a few out there. And Adbusters magazine started a number of movements. There were a number of demands or demand sheets that were. Let me try to find what I have here from Matthias.
Tegan's got the same one on her phone.
Okay, so Adbusters magazine, they started a number of movements. One of my favorites is actually Buy Nothing Day, which is generally on Black Friday. And they also started this one trying to make everyone aware that Adbusters Culture Jammers were going to get mobilized at Wall Street on September 17th. Didn't take long for groups like Anonymous, as Dave